My name is Rick Hill. I'm the MD of Softwire's Bristol operation, and Softwire has offices in London and Bristol, and I look after the Bristol side of the business. We have a very talented team of software development professionals here in Colston Tower who look after software consultancy, development and support for a range of clients. This webinar is going to take you through how to build software on time and to budget, and we're basing this around 5 steps to project success. These 5 steps are: first is selecting the right supplier, the second is setting up the relationship for success, the third is working out what to do in the development project, the fourth is developing that software in partnership with a supplier, and the fifth is how to progress seamlessly to live and support mode once the system is built. And we're lucky enough to be joined by Stuart Brocklehurst from Applegate for this webinar, who will be talking about their perspective on how a successful software project has gone in collaboration with Softwire. So I think there's really 4 key attributes that you should look for in a software development supplier. The first and probably most important is a clear track record of delivering quality solutions on time and on budget. As a software organisation, we didn't get to where we are without making a few mistakes along the way, and I think it's very important that you find someone who has made those mistakes and learned from them and has develop themselves into an organisation which can really reliably deliver all the time. The second thing is quality of service and delivery. It's a bit of a myth that you can do things cheap or you can do things well. I think that doing things well actually is cheaper because it reduces the lifetime cost of the software, and it means that you can get to market quicker, realise business benefit quicker. Quality has a lot of value associated with it, so I think finding a quality outfit is really the second most important thing. The third most important, I think, is probably transparency, finding a partner who will be completely open with you about how they work, and that really enables them to then become a partner rather than a supplier to you, which is what's going to deliver the most value for you at the end of the day. The fourth one is flexibility. Flexibility is not just around working hours or things like that. Flexibility is around fitting in with your organisation. And again, that's just about becoming a partner rather than a supplier. It's bending their ways of working to your ways of working, meeting in the middle. There should be things that both organisations can learn from one another, and blending those two is what really is key to a successful delivery.
We went through a formal tender process when we were looking to identify an outsourced software provider, and there are a number of factors, as always. Of course, price is one significant one, but we were very conscious that the cost to the business of getting this project wrong was higher than simply the frontline price of the work. So we were keen to find people who had good experience and could demonstrate that they had executed complex projects in an effective manner. And really important to us, we wanted people who would work in partnership with us. This wasn't a project which would have worked simply to hand over a specification document and sort of see the vendor again in 6 months' time. We knew that we needed to work very closely with the outsource partner as we went through the project, as the requirements could be honed, as they could give us feedback, as we could then change and develop the specifications as we went through. And that, I think, was the most critical part for us.
It's a very interesting question, because I think the onus is often put on the supplier to do the right things, but actually a successful software development project is about a partnership, and clients playing and our clients playing a role in that, and working well with us is really key to successful delivery. Applegate is a prime example of a project where the client has been really understanding and really committed to working with us in the best possible way. And that really was a major contributing factor to the outcome of the project. And working with us, it's more about an attitude than any specific actions. It's about always asking what they can do to make the project successful. It's about having an understanding of the ways in which individuals work, and spending time with those individuals in the same place over dinner, making the effort to create a team atmosphere between the two organisations is really, really important. And getting us involved in the purpose of the project, the why and the wherefore of what we're doing, because that's really how we can then deliver the best value alongside them. Well, co-sourcing means that you have an investment from your partner and a buy-in from them to really get to know the business and become a part of your business. That means taking on a lot of the knowledge about how the business works and operates, extending your team as if they're your own. We become very loyal to our clients, and Applegate's a really good example. By getting so close to the business, we really want that business to succeed. And it makes us really invested in providing an absolutely brilliant solution that's going to really benefit the business, not just delivering what someone asks of us. And going above and beyond and actually getting vested in the success of that business is really going to give the best results for everybody. Well, the first thing we do is we estimate very, very carefully on that project brief. Now, there's a bit of a misconception in the software development world that taking an agile, flexible approach means you don't do any estimates. That is, in our view, completely the wrong attitude. You need to estimate carefully, but you don't estimate based on a completely refined spec with all the possible detail in it. You estimate based on some goals for the project, some high-level functionality that you know you're going to have to produce. And we go through that functionality and we come up with an estimate for time and therefore cost of what we think it will take to deliver the project successfully. Then the next thing we do is we go into a pre-development phase where we start setting the project up for success. And that entails a lot of conversation with the business stakeholders, really getting to know the business and getting under the skin of everything to refine those estimates and that specification. Not to the nth degree, but to the point where we're confident that what we're setting out to deliver is the right thing to deliver. And in parallel to that, we set up the project from a technical perspective. So we put in place continuous integration infrastructure, we put in place a test infrastructure, basic application infrastructure, we get our test systems and servers up and running, put all the environments in place, the build script, all that kind of stuff. And that means that when we come out of this phase, we're then perfectly positioned to start developing real usable software right from the word go. So it all begins with the estimation that we do before a project starts. based on that estimation, we have an expected outcome for the project in terms of functionality delivered, and we have an expected effort required, which we then, via converting that over a number of people who will be assigned to the project, we can get a cost associated with the project. And what we do is we say, these are the people who are going to deliver the project, this is how long they're going to spend on it, and this is going to be the cost. And we set that in stone. And what we flex throughout the project is the scope that we're delivering. So we believe that going into a project, you don't actually know what the best outcome for the business is in terms of exact functionality. And as we get into the project, we discovered that certain things are very easy to develop and deliver a lot of value to the business, whereas other things might actually be quite hard to develop and aren't delivering that much value to the business. So based on feedback from users and stakeholders on what's the most useful thing, where the important aspects for the business are changing and realigning, we change our scope for the project on an ongoing basis. And we continually measure how that's varying against the initial expectation, and we're continually measuring our rate of progress through that project. So we always have an idea of what the outcome is going to look like and how that is changing over the course of the project. So essentially, we never go over time or over budget, but you don't get exactly what you thought you might get when you set out. But we believe that's a good thing, because the result that you do get is better value for the business than if we had actually delivered what you initially asked for.
Key aspect of this is that it was truly a joint program. So the overall program director was a colleague of mine here at Applegate, Colin Farrow, and he ran the program overall and also was owner of the specification and the user experience. The technical project manager then was from Softwire, but under him there was a joint project team of developers both from Softwire and from Applegate. And then there are a series of other projects running alongside the technical project, addressing things such as marketing, internal processes, etc. And this sort of layered approach of Applegate, Softwire, Applegate and Softwire, I think was crucial. It's easy for vendors to talk about a one-team approach and so forth, but that has to be a reality for the project really to work.
Well, I think the best product launches, where it's possible, are soft launches. And Applegate's a really good example of this, where it was put to market without too much fanfare initially, and seeing how it was bedded in and then took off from there. A soft launch like that gives everyone the chance to react in a slightly calmer environment to any teething problems or anything that might arise. As it happens on the Applegate project, there really were no significant teething problems or issues. So actually, from some perspectives, it was unnecessary, but I think it's definitely a better, safer bet where possible. Where it's not possible, we need to be very careful to ensure that a strong early life support team is on hand whenever it might be used, so that we can ensure that any issues are very, very quickly dealt with. So that's a good question, and there's many different ways in which this can happen. Using Applegate as an example, they leveraged one of the massive benefits of the co-sourcing approach, which is that throughout the project, their own internal developers were kept in the loop and involved in the development process, which meant that after launch, they were in the perfect position to support it themselves and look after the product in-house. And that's the approach that Applegate took. Some others of our clients go the other way. So with a co-sourcing approach, you're flexible and you can take any route you like. So we have a dedicated support team at Softwire where we look after third-party software that we have built or indeed that other people have built. And we can transition very smoothly from development into support, typically by actually taking one of the developers from the development team and putting them into our support team so that there's a seamless knowledge transfer. There's actually the same people looking after the software.
It's been a really, really positive experience, I think, with everyone at Softwire we've worked with, whether that be management, support staff, project management, technical leads, developers, testers, all across the team. As I mentioned, you get a real sense of a passion for what they do, a real commitment to quality, and I think a sense of pride and commitment to putting their name to the work. And it's been a really close collaboration. It's felt like one team, not separate teams. We are confident that we can trust the feedback that we get and the information we delivered. And above all, we've enjoyed it. It's a great bunch of people to work with. They've provided great insights, but they've also just simply been a pleasure to have as, I was about to say colleagues, which, whilst that's not technically true, is what it's felt.
We're fantastically proud of this project. We think it's a great example of a collaborative team working together to produce a fantastic result. I'm very proud of the team and the individuals on that team for producing such a high quality output and for working so well with the third party. But it's also been a little bit of an eye-opener to me as to how well a client can work with us. Applegate has really been the perfect exemplar of a client who wants to do things in a good way and work well with us, and they've gone to great lengths to ensure that they're doing what they can to make the partnership a success. And it's really shown me that emphasis on that side is such a guarantee pretty much to developing a solid project outcome that will benefit both organisations.